My name is Albert, and I'm excited to introduce you to the best podcast out there. It's Disney Conversation, the unofficial Disney World family vacation podcast. Say hello to Splash, Sparkles, and T-Bone.
Welcome back to another Disney Conversation. This is Disney Conversation number 9. Today is Thursday, June the 8th, 2017. And let's meet the crew.
Hey guys, Splash here again.
Hey, it's Sparkles.
The favorite, T-Bone.
Yep.
Don't flatter yourself.
No.
Well, welcome back, guys. And just so everyone will know, if you want to see a video version of this podcast, you can go to www.disneyconversation.com. You'll catch all our past episodes and all in video format. And if you want to listen to us on your favorite podcasting app, just search for Disney Conversation on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and you will find us there. Guys, y'all ready to start the news today?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. Well, looking back at the week that is Disney, Beauty and the Beast, the live action version came out on iTunes, Blu-ray, DVD, digital HD. I know I haven't had a chance to catch it again yet. I know Sparkles has seen it multiple times. But just in case you've forgotten, Beauty and the Beast is the domestic USA film of the year so far, bringing in over $500 million in the United States, and is beating Fate of the Furious by at least a solid $10 million or more for the year. Sparkles, tell us what it's like to watch it again. Did you see anything different now that you're watching it on the small screen than the big screen?
I noticed a few lines in it that I didn't hear watching it in theaters. I heard stuff more than I saw stuff.
Well, what jumped out at you?
Well, one of them was like LeFou, and they're about to go like barge in the castle. And he says something during the song, and I never really knew what he says. Like, he says, "I fear the wrong monster's been released." But I had no idea what he said there. So I know now.
Well, that's good.
That's interesting.
Well, guys, are y'all still interested in Beauty and the Beast, or is it old news now? Is it as enjoyable to watch? I know as a family we went to see a preview showing of it, and we all really liked it. So, what do you think now? Is it a movie that'll stand the test of time?
Most likely.
You know, I thought it was a great movie, but are they going to remake that one in 10 years? Or are they going to remake the animated one again?
Remake the remake.
A reimagining of the classic reimagining
Of the classic.
of the classic.
I think it was really good, but you know, now that it's out of theaters, and I haven't gotten to see it out of theaters yet, but you know, I still think at some point I would sit down to watch the animated one again. I don't know. That's just me, but
That's true. I feel like you can't ever really beat the classic, no matter how good the new one is.
back. Your question was, will it withstand the test of time? I think that it will. You know, I don't see that they can redo this one anytime soon. I think it was very, very well made. And so I think it'll be something that people will want to continue to watch for a while.
T-Bone, what about you? You want to see it again?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to watch it again as a family again. I mean, as long as we can keep Sparkles from quoting all the lines.
Well,
Nope.
that's true. So, T-Bone, you didn't watch it with Sparkles all those times?
I watched it about half of it with Sparkles once, and then
He left.
Okay.
and then went and watched it 2 more times. So
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, it looks like we'll have to set a time and watch it all together again. And I don't know. I thought it was that good. It was a good movie.
It was. It was very good.
All right, our next story goes to Disney World and something that we've always done, but let's talk about whether or not we want to keep doing it now that we have so many. But here's the story. Disney announced that they're raising the price of Memory Maker at the parks again. Prices did increase for a pre-trip price. It went from $149 to $169 for the trip. And then if you buy it as a guest in the park same day or the day before when you get there, it goes to $199. So we've done that on, well, I guess our last 4 trips that we've been on,
Yeah.
and we have many pictures. But my question to you guys is, now that we've done it and so many times, and we've got so many pictures from Memory Maker, is it time to slow down and quit taking all that time to get those pictures made? Because a lot of the pictures are the same. Let me ask you this. How many pictures do we have of Space Mountain? I mean, that we're riding Space Mountain or all the roller coasters. What do y'all think? Is it still something that you do every time?
I think it is still something because it's showing, like, as you look at one picture and you see how, like me, I know me and Sparkles have definitely gotten taller since our last vacation. So you can kind of see as you grow throughout your Disney vacations.
I agree with that. I also agree with the different reactions. As we get older, we have different reactions. Like when we were younger, me and T-Bone would cling to our mom like crazy. But nowadays, we no longer cling, but T-Bone gets crazy eyes.
I was about to say, is it not worth it just to get T-Bone's expressions on some of those rides? Because he's got some pretty funny ones. He's got some bug eyes.
And then stuff like Splash Mountain, where we all like intricately plan out how we're gonna try to do it all throughout the ride. For a split second picture, we're like, okay, are we gonna fist bump? Are we gonna like superhero? Are we gonna selfie? I don't know.
Are we gonna dab?
But you're right, though. We do have a bunch of them. I mean, hundreds.
Thousands. Is it thousands?
Of
Not yet.
Disney. Well, but
Not thousands.
I mean, how many we've got in front of Cinderella's castle? Which it is neat, though, to look. You know, you have a book of Disney vacations that we've taken, so you can kind of go through them and see how, you know, some of us have grown up. But I see what you're saying. That's a lot of money for something that
I do see.
will go in a scrapbook, but it's all the same. So there's nothing. I mean, it is unique, but it's not as unique anymore, just because we have been so much.
I wish Disney would change up their photo pass locations and what they do, because we did hear a rumor, and we may have even talked about it a couple of months ago, that they were experimenting with automatic, or I guess I should say automated photo opportunities where you kind of get on an X on the ground or whatever, and it'll give you a countdown, and there is no photographer. So, you know, if they could do that in many, many different places in the park where you could just stop and take a picture, you know, maybe that would be better. Because right now it seems like most of the opportunities all come in the same place. And so we have lots of the same picture. Of course, it's over the years, but it's basically the same background.
Well, it is. And I think that'd be a good idea to automate some of that a little bit, you know. But I don't think they should get rid of the photographers completely, because the photographers will have us stand different ways and do different poses, you know, and it's kind of to what they see at the time, which I think is kind of neat. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It'll just kind of take out the human part of it. But
True, and I know you guys don't think a lot about the cost of the trip and stuff. $170, when you're talking about a trip to Disney, is not a large percentage of the total cost. And it does keep me from having to carry a camera around with me. I don't know. I think we'll still do it. Is everybody in favor of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
at least for now.
Yeah, and speaking of the automated, I'm thinking about it. I say they should keep all the normal ones that they've always had, maybe if they're not going to change them, and keep the photographers with those because some people that is their only trip, so they can get those pictures. But I think they should also have automated ones set up randomly throughout the park, like you said, so you could do both.
Well, they should do that. And on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, they actually take many video clips instead of ride pictures in different spots. I think they should have something like that on all of the rides instead of just one still picture. You remember?
Yes, I second that.
That was neat, wasn't it?
I think so. I do wish they would do that on other rides.
Right, because it showed like a camera on the front of the train, so it would show the ride leading up to that point, and then it would have you on the ride, and it would show you going through there. I thought that was really cool.
That was a really neat thing.
So that's something else I think they should add to it.
I agree. Good point. Our next story kind of comes along the same lines, and before I tell you what the next story is, do we remember going to see Mickey Mouse at the Magic Kingdom and getting our pictures made with him, and his eyes were blinking and they were closed in about 3/4 of the pictures that we took with him? Do y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Even the
How you can forget
ones,
that?
they were closed.
Yeah,
He would
That was-
blink for the pictures.
that was the one where we walked up and he wanted us to act like we were hitchhiking.
Yeah.
And in that picture, he was like, eyes closed.
Yeah, he sure did.
He said he had to hitchhike over to the Magic Kingdom. So he's like, come on, everybody, let's hitchhike.
That was actually 2 trips ago when that happened. And I think the last trip they had worked out some of those bugs because it was a little better experience this last time.
Well, I think you actually asked the photographer about it to make sure that when the picture was taken, his eyes wouldn't be closed. So,
well, he looked goofy.
he did. It was strange being in a picture with Mickey and his eyes closed.
Yeah.
Well, listen, our next story is from Genevieve Roberts, and she's talking about meeting Disney characters as an adult and going through that picture process. And when y'all were little kids, and we have pictures and stuff of y'all meeting Mickey for the first time, I mean, your eyes were wide, and it was a special deal because y'all thought you were meeting Mickey Mouse. So, spoiler alert, we know that these are cast members in costumes. Y'all do know that, right?
Well,
No.
I do now.
Yeah. What are you gonna tell me next? Santa's not real. God.
Okay, so that Mickey is really just a sweaty cast member if it's summertime that's just thinking, I gotta get out of this suit. But
Thanks for throwing sweaty in there.
okay, but all right, so here's the question for you guys. As now that you're older, what does it mean to meet the characters? Because another thing about doing the pictures through Memory Maker is a lot of the opportunities to get your picture made is with the characters. So they're there. And do you feel awkward getting those pictures made? Do you like getting those pictures made? And what's it like going through that whole process now that you're older?
I still love it. I'd just say it. I really, really like it.
Like you said, you do know that it's just a cast member in costume, but it's still just fun to meet characters that you grew up watching, like Mickey Mouse. I know me, Sparkles, and Splash kind of grew up watching him on shows like Disney Channel. And so it's always, no matter how old you get, it's still fun to just kind of see the characters that you've grown up seeing.
It is. I mean, like you were saying, my eyes don't get wide like I'm meeting Mickey for the first time, but I mean, that's kind of why we're there. To me, it's part of the experience. And there's some characters that I would be fine. I wouldn't want to stand in line to get another picture with. But like when we're at those restaurants and they're just walking around and come up and we'll say hi. I'd like to get a picture just because they're there. I mean, to me, it's part of the experience.
So, okay. So what's the etiquette? Do you high five them? Do you give them a hug? Do you act like you're a little kid? What's going through your head? What's the proper etiquette for an adult to meet a character?
I think it's whatever they do because they're gonna either hold their arms out or hold their hand up for a high five, and so whatever they do is what I'm gonna do. But I don't just run up and jump on them and give them a big hug. I'll kind of walk up and whatever they do first is what I'll do. But again, that's just me. T-Bone loves to run up and hug Goofy's neck, so I don't know.
Sparkles, what do you think?
I agree with that. If they don't initiate something, yeah, I'm gonna go up and give them a hug. That's Minnie. Like, come on. If they do go for a high five, I might be a little insulted, but I'll give them that high five and get the picture. But I think the person who wrote the article pretty much sums it up because it says like their brain knows it's a cast member in a sweaty costume, but their heart is screaming, "Oh my gosh, it's Minnie right in front of me," which is true.
There are some times I don't know what to do. Mainly when we met Kylo Ren.
Yeah, you're just kind of going with it.
To do. So I just kind of stood there and smiled awkwardly at him because I was so intimidated. I mean, that's what they wanted, but I really had no idea what to do in that situation because it would have thrown him off if I just gave him a hug.
You should have come on, buddy, come here.
Yeah.
Come on, bring it in, Kylo.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be funny.
Well, now I know what I'm doing next time we're there. But, I had no idea what to do in that situation.
Okay, so we're all saying we're in agreement. We're going to continue the pictures and we're going to do as many character photo ops as we can. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Depending on who it is.
Well, okay. Who is it that you don't care about? Who have we done that you don't want to stand?
Well, there's
for a
just
picture?
when we were in Animal Kingdom and Tarzan was standing there, I would be more prone to stand in line for a cool Mickey Mouse picture than I would be Tarzan. Sparkles wouldn't agree with that, but
I think Sparkles he was pretty pumped, but he kept picking bugs out of Allison's hair. Do you remember?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that dirty. Gosh.
A couple big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, I'll take that as a yes. We'll continue doing all that stuff, and it does take a lot of time, especially when you're waiting in line for a photo op. And you know what? We've even done fast passes for pictures with Mickey.
Well, we do that at Epcot, where it's all of them together, and we're still there, at least 30 minutes with a fast pass. So it does. So.
I do agree. It's neat to go back through the years though and see how you guys have aged at Disney, especially those Main Street pictures and stuff. It's interesting to see that. It's almost as good as like putting a mark on the wall to see how tall you are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our next story comes from Tom Bell, and he's talking about Disneyland in this story. I'm not sure this applies to Disney World yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Tom talks about fidget spinners,
T-Bone,
and how they've made their debut at Disneyland. These things are your typical fidget spinners that we've seen around for a little while. You get it in black or white. They feature Mickey, Minnie, or Stitch on the ends, and they're selling for $12 at stores throughout Disneyland. Would you buy a fidget spinner with Mickey on it, or are you kind of done with fidget spinners? Where are we on this?
Currently, I have a fidget spinner sitting very near me right now. I'm just saying.
I was kind of showing this off a second ago, but I have one right next to me.
So would you want another one?
Yes. If it has Mickey's face on it, of course I do.
Do you own one currently, Splash?
No, I do not.
Lame.
Well, you can only hope that you'll get one before they go out of style and quit selling them in a month.
True.
That'll be it.
Well, I'm looking at the pictures of them, and there's nothing even super, in my opinion, super spectacular about them. I mean,
Expected
it looks
more.
like something I could go on Amazon and order from China for about $3.
Yeah, I did expect more.
Maybe they'll make one that glows in the dark or something like that.
Maybe the Mickey faces would glow in the dark.
That'd be nice.
Well,
Wait,
I'm not surprised that they're. Do what?
They light up.
It does say these light up spinners are available. Okay, excuse me, $4 on Amazon, not $3.
Okay, so does a light up spinner make it worth more? Is that? I'm trying to think. Would your teachers appreciate you with a light up spinner in class?
Probably not.
Mine would not appreciate it all that much.
But you still think you'd buy it?
If you're,
Because it doesn't look like a Disney souvenir at all. I mean, it's white or black, and it's got, just a character's face on there, but it's not even anything spectacular. It's just to me, just like a basic sketch. So when you look at it, it doesn't look like a Disney souvenir.
Yeah, it does look like something that someone could have made and just sold, rather than a Disney World or Disneyland exclusive accessory.
But let's be honest, they're about to make a bunch of money off of them.
Well, until they go out of style again. See, I'd rather just take that $12 and buy a coffee mug.
Of course you would.
What happens if coffee goes out of style?
Yeah, Austin.
Well, we're not going to think about that. But, I don't know. I'm just not on the whole fidget spinner train, so.
All right, so look for your Disney fidget spinner next time you're at Disneyland, and I bet you anything you'll see it at Disney World here really soon if they're not already there.
I was about to say, I bet they're already there.
All right, our next story comes from Robert Niles. He's from the Theme Park Insider, and he writes about a Fast Pass Plus loophole at Walt Disney World. And this
Former
is something.
loophole.
Yeah.
It's something I haven't heard of before, and I kind of wish I would have. So a little bit about the loophole itself. According to Robert, in the past, you could have taken an old Magic Band into the park and gone up to any of the Fast Pass kiosks where you can make additional Fast Pass selections. And you could add Fast Passes to the old band as well as using the ones that you've made for your new band for that trip. So it was a way to just get extra Fast Passes because Disney World was not checking to see if that band was used as an entrance ticket into the park that day. It was just assuming that if you had the band at the park that you used it as a ticket, and it lets you do that. So it's kind of unknown at this point how many people are doing this. I wish we'd have known because we had old Magic Bands that we could have taken in and gotten some extra Fast Passes for. But according to Robert, they have now closed that loophole, so it just doesn't matter anyway. But I'm just curious. Do you guys think if we would have known about it, would it have made a difference in our trip if we were to have taken the old ones?
I feel like we would have just used them for like being at Hollywood Studios, and it was later, and we wanted to go on like one more go of Tower of Terror, something random like that.
Well, but you can't make reservations on the old bands. It's only fast passes that you get there in the park. So probably by that time, the major rides would already be gone, I would think.
Well, but I think you could have taken that in and done that first thing. I'm
Yeah.
not sure when they open those kiosks to make extra fast passes, but surely by 10 or 11 a.m., you could have probably used it to make some selections, I would think.
That's interesting.
So what would you have done with them? Would you have worn a band on each hand? I'm just curious how that would work. Do you think it would have been worth the trouble of trying to manage that?
I
For an
mean,
extra fast pass or two.
don't you think a cast member would say something?
That's why
Hide
you
it
hide it in your
I
pocket.
mean-
Yeah, you hide it in your pocket.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do. I'd hide it, and then when it was time to switch, I'd switch them out. But you have to remember which fast passes on which band, because it's going to be really awkward if you're standing there at the thing and you have to tell the cast member, wait a second, I got to switch bands.
That's true. Look at that other band, sir.
That's interesting, though. I'm actually a little surprised that Disney did that. I feel like they would be on top of something like that.
I feel like they don't realize how much power us like normal goers really have on their part.
Or what normal people would think to try to do.
I feel like,
Because that would never cross my mind.
yeah, same. Because I would never think of using an old band. Because I feel like the second you leave the park and like you can't use it as a hotel key anymore, you can't use it for anything. I thought it'd be just done. Like there's nothing you can do with it.
Well, that's true. I thought they were deactivated once you checked out.
Yeah.
I did too.
Actually, I think our old bands are still activated. You have to go online and specifically deactivate them through the Disney website if you want to do so. But other than that, then they continue to work.
And that's not a smart idea. No wonder people are hacking. I thought
Well,
they
I mean, I'm sure it's not going to remain a room key, but
No.
the band will still work. I mean, it doesn't just turn off.
Well, and it doesn't. I do not believe that it works on the website as far as making fast pass reservations. I think it's only in the park. I think you've got to take these old devices into the park, and of course, that's assuming that they don't work anymore. But that's how I believe it did work.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I'm surprised with Disney and the amount of information that they already handle just through the magic bands. I'm surprised they didn't have, at least one system, checking that. But
Well, it appears that they do now. So
I'm
figured it out. Okay, so let's extend this to one more leap here. Assuming that we're saying then that it's worth doing a loophole like that for an extra fast pass or two, what's a fast pass worth? Would you guys buy 2 tickets to Magic Kingdom in order to get 6 fast passes? Or is it better just to take your 3 and stand in line? I mean, it would cost, approximately $100 to get 3 fast passes. So boil that down to 1 fast pass is a fast pass worth $33 to you.
I mean, sure. Because you can either pay that amount to get more fast passes, or you could go wait in line for a really long time. Like in Pandora, people are waiting 6 hours for a ride, but you could get extra fast passes, and that could be one of your extra fast passes, and it's a little extra, but you're not waiting in line for 6 hours.
Yeah, you're only waiting in line for 3 hours.
Better than 6?
but that's $100 a day. So let's say you wanted that every day of your trip. I mean, we're talking about buying an extra park ticket for every day.
That is
So
true.
then if you're going to do it multiple days, that's a lot of money that you could spend on other things.
Maybe just use it for the few days you think you need it, like at Hollywood Studios or now Animal Kingdom for Pandora.
Well, I don't know if I'm not sure exactly how they're checking this, but wouldn't it be awful if you had bought 2 tickets to do that, and then they come back and they're actually checking that each fast pass is tied to a ticket that was activated through the turnstiles at the front gate? If that's the case, then you would have bought those tickets for no reason and it wouldn't work on the fast pass. That would be bad.
That would kind of ruin your day.
Unless you go into the park and immediately walk out and walk in again.
That's what I thought. You like pretend you forgot something and then be like, "Oh, I didn't forget anything," then walk back in.
Well, I guess you're right. You could do that for sure.
Another loophole.
Good job, guys.
All right, so your fast pass loophole is now closed, according to Robert Niles. So I wish we'd have known it, though. I think we would have tried to do that the last time we were there.
Sorry to get everybody's hopes up and then, crush them again. But this loophole is gone.
Let's see. Our next story has to do with Apple computers. Actually, in particular, the Apple Watch. It was just announced at WWDC this week that Apple's going to bring new Toy Story faces to its watch face. I know that Splash has an Apple Watch. So, Splash, I guess this question's for you. Are you going to put Buzz or any of the other Toy Story characters that they're going to bring out on your watch face? And if not, I'm just curious, have you put Mickey or Minnie on there yet?
I do use Mickey when I'm either on vacation or it's the weekend. I use my watch a lot for notifications and for school and work stuff. And so I don't use the Mickey face as much because it limits all of the widgets that you can have on your screen. But when I'm on vacation, it's perfect. I like the classic black and white Mickey. So I don't know that I would use a Toy Story character as much because it's still only the time and date, and I'd like to have more things than that. And I'm still just a fan of Mickey, personally. I don't know. Maybe occasionally I would get wild and crazy and put Woody or Buzz on there, but I don't think it'll be something I'd use all the time.
They've got Jesse as one of the options to go along with Woody. Could they have made some different choices? Those are very famous Toy Story characters, but if you think about all the characters involved with Pixar, who is someone not in the list that you would like to see on the watch face?
Lightning McQueen.
Tow Mater.
That'd be
I think
good.
you're right. Tow Mater would be good.
I think there's a bunch. I do wish that they would animate them. Like Mickey will tap his feet and dance a little bit, but I wish they would do something, because there's already nothing on the watch face, really. So.
That is true. It'd be
like you could have Marlin and Nemo swimming around or something. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Something like that. That's something I would like, but we'll see. Maybe one day.
All right. Well, we'll look for that to come this fall when they update the watch software to, I think, to number 4. Splash, I think we got our watches like right before we went on a spring break trip to Disney. Was that 2 years ago, I suppose?
You did. I didn't get mine until May, but I believe you had yours in time for it. It's been a while. I've had mine 3 years. So, yeah, pretty close.
Well, I don't know. It does kind of make it fun to see the changes in the watch.
And I'm excited to see them keep changing it. And I hope they keep adding. I like the Disney characters, and I'd like to see more of them.
All right. Let's go to our last story for this conversation this week. Mark Newbold for Metro UK wrote a story about the owner of the world's most extensive Star Wars collection. And his name was Stephen J. Sansweet. And evidently, he had over $200,000 worth of items stolen from his collection. And unfortunately, by a friend that he had known over 20 years, had stolen the items. The man who is accused of stealing those items was Carl Edward Cunningham of Marietta, Georgia. And he was arrested this past March in Sonoma County, California, and charged with felony grand theft. He is out on bail. But here's the thing. This collection was over 40 years in the making. It's in the Guinness's Book of World Records. And they say that he has over 93,260 pieces of Star Wars memorabilia that's been cataloged. But friends say that his collection is probably closer to 500,000 pieces. I can't imagine that many pieces. So what was stolen? Things such as a Ben Kenobi 12-pack Takara stickers, Darth Vader characters, Chewbacca characters, Sand People toys. I mean, just all kinds of stuff that equaled about $200,000. Number one, can you imagine collecting that many items, and what would you do with them? And number two, what would it mean if somebody took something like that from you? I mean, what's a collection like that really worth, do you think?
It says that it has a combined estimation value of $200,000 of things that were stolen, not the total collection.
No, right. Yo, he stole $200,000 worth of stuff. The actual collection, it doesn't have a price tag on it, I don't think. I'm sure it's worth millions and millions of dollars. What would you do if you had millions of dollars tied up into Star Wars items? Steve created a museum that people could go into, but I guess the question is, can you imagine having a collection that big to begin with?
No, I couldn't, because little things like maybe a small little action figure, it would be almost impossible to notice if they were missing. Because you think with 1,000, it says like 93,000 was the Guinness World Record for it. Like I was saying, just the littlest things like that, it'd be impossible to keep up with everything.
Do I hear something in the background? What is going on?
I told Mom to hush.
Yeah.
So I can't believe he keeps all this in a converted chicken barn. So I just can't even imagine that much Star Wars stuff and not just be on the set of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of respect for this guy.
I just wonder how much money he's actually put into this collection. Because you think how much it's worth right now, well, how much did he have to put into it?
Well, next time you're in, if I'm not mistaken, it's Petaluma, California, just north of San Francisco is where he's located. He calls his museum Rancho Obi-Wan. And I guess if we go to California, we need to look this guy up, because that's an incredible museum.
We gotta go see it.
I would like to see it. I mean, looking at the pictures, he's got just all kinds of life-size mannequins, and it's pretty impressive. He's got like a carbon fiber Darth Vader helmet is what it looks like in the picture.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's kind of interesting.
And it seems like he has, to the left of that Vader helmet, it seems like he has a full, like he could probably wear it. It's a set of a stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah. And there's another Darth Vader helmet behind that that's like all silver and spiky.
Well, So going back to having stuff stolen, it was enough that Mark Hamill himself put out a tweet about it.
Yeah.
So
All right, so watching the news for that, and I'm sure if anything else was stolen, it's probably on eBay by now by somebody. So
yeah,
you can look at.
unfortunately.
Well, guys, it's been another Disney conversation this week. Thank you so much for joining in.
It's been fun. Another
Thanks
good
for
one.
having us.
Well, don't forget, if you want to see the video version of this podcast, you can go to www.disneyconversation.com. Catch all the past episodes, including this new one there in video form. Or if you want to listen to it on your favorite podcast app, you can just search for Disney Conversation wherever you get your favorite podcast. So, guys, I always tell you every week we're going to increase your pay for this show. We're not going to increase it this week. Same pay as last week.
I don't know about that. Don't know how I feel about that. My people will be calling your people.
Let me give my lawyer a phone call. This is not what I
You'll be
signed
hearing
up for.
from my lawyer.
This is not what I signed up for.
But I'll still be here next week, so it's okay.
All right. Well, until next week, then we'll say goodnight to you guys and hope you're having a good summer. And we will see you next time for another Disney conversation.
We sure will. Number 10.
That's
Next
right.
week.
Number 10 next week.
So we're getting there.
Finally hitting double digits.
All right, guys. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.